It is no coincidence that Kushner and company are bypassing the Palestinian Authority and starting with terribly improvised Gaza Strip in their recent Washington Post article. The trio offered US assistance to the Strip if the financially bankrupt, politically deadlocked Hamas agreed to step aside or accept a long term ceasefire deal with Israel. Enter Egyptian mediation for a separate deal between Hamas and Israel, promising aid and prosperity just when the latter blockades, starves, and cuts fuel to the more than 2 million inhabitants of the Gaza Strip. All of which forces the question, what are the Palestinians to do? They can't complain about nothing being consulted, as it was President Abbas who served all dialogues with the Trump administration after the latter's recognition of the Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And they can't just object or abstain as the PLO has done in recent years. The American diplomats have already warned President Abbas to either step up or step aside. And to add insult to injury, de facto Saudi leader Mohammed bin Salman has also warned the Palestinians to either accept the American proposal or shut up. Despite recent reassurances from his father, King Salman, the Saudi leader, just like his Emirati and Egyptian counterparts, is likely to continue to coordinate with Israel, even if that means leaving Palestinians behind. So the Palestinian leaders would need to decide when the time comes, accept and negotiate for more, albeit with a newer, tighter framework, or reject and suffer the consequences. Isolation, retribution, or worse, replacement. But how could the Palestinian leaders accept a demilitarized half state on half of the West Bank and an isolated Gaza Strip, one that lacks contiguity and sovereignty, a state that looks like more of the Swiss cheese than it does the Swiss Federation? And how can they forego a fair solution for the millions of refugees? Palestinian Arab pragmatists argued, as they did in the favor of Oslo Accords a quarter of a century ago, that inaction means isolation and irrelevance, that there is no choice but to take and build, engage, and try to extract as many compromises as possible. I beg your pardon, please. This realistic counter that it is the Oslo logic that led the Palestinians to the President dire circumstances. Uh, Let me correct myself. I beg your pardon, please. It is the realist counter that it's the Oslo logic that led the Palestinians to present dire circumstances. And these present dire circumstances have made them even worse. And that the biased Trump administration cannot be trusted as a sponsor of any deal at all. But as the debate on the merits and the mockeries of Trump's deal of the century continues, Palestinians must first and foremost unite and remain steadfast until the political shock waves off what appears to be a shockingly bad deal withers. Fingers crossed, Trump and the company could be gone in 2 years. For decades, the Palestinians were seen as the torchbearers in the fight against colonialism throughout the world. Today, their struggle for freedom and justice symbolizes the struggle against US supported tyranny throughout the Middle East. It is their historical calling. How will they answer?